Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking again about World War I and continuing on with the second installment in this series on World War I. We're talking about causes today. The ruler, as we stated last time, was of Austria and Hungary was Emperor Francis Joseph. In 1914, he'd been ruling for 66 years. He's getting old. He's 84 now. And the heir to the throne is called the Archduke. So the heir to the throne is a man named Franz Ferdinand, and he is actually a progressive who is actually trying to fight for the rights of human rights of people and trying to come to a peaceful accord with his neighbors, and is fighting for equality and peace between the Austrians and the Balkan states. Austria-Hungary has been expanding south, though, and so it makes his trip when he goes south fairly precarious. He's trying to set up meetings where he's going to be talking about peace and he's going to be the new ruler, etc., etc. But the actual emperor hasn't been exhibiting these types of peaceful qualities, and so there's a lot of people angry at Austria-Hungary at this time. 10 kingdoms in this region highly resented the expansions south in the Balkan states, and they have been fighting the Austro-Hungarians, but also the Ottoman Empire for centuries up until this point. And they've fought the Ottoman Empire. They've gained independence. They have, pushed the Muslims back to Turkey, modern day Turkey, that is. And Austria has already taken over one of these tiny nations called Bosnia. Bosnia had problems then, and even through the 1990s has had tremendous amount of problems as well. The people found themselves a part of an empire that they hated. The Bosnians did not want to be a part of Austria. Culturally, they are very different. The Baltic states are more of Slavic descent. So if you're talking about ancient tribal peoples from pre-Roman Empire, the Slavs are very, very different from the Germanic peoples, different culture. And then in these later periods, you've got the Orthodox Church, that the majority of Orthodox and Catholic, Eastern Catholic, that the majority of people in the Baltic states are adhering to, as well as in Russia, as opposed to Western Roman Catholicism and Protestantism in places like Austria. And so you have cultural differences, you have religious differences, and the Bosnians didn't want to be a part of Austria. Okay, here you see the Archduke, I believe. I think so. Maybe that's Francis Joseph. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Okay, moving on. A fateful trip. Francis Ferdinand, knowing he would be soon emperor, travels with his wife to soothe things over in Bosnia. He is vying for peace. So a group of terrorists called the Black Hand comes up, and they are planning to assassinate him. Since no one knows the exact route he's taking, they spread themselves out up and down Main Street. They see his car at some point, fire several shots, lobbed a few hand grenades, and when blows up, Franz Ferdinand and his wife escape death. And they decided to cut down an alley after They got to their destination, gave some speeches, had meetings, ate lunch. They're taking a different route home. Most of the people who were attacking captured by the police. The other individuals scattered and ran. They're going down alleyways and side streets. The Archduke takes one of these and stops right in front of one of the terrorists named Gavrilo Princip, and he fires upon the Archduke's car, killing the Archduke and his wife on June 28, 1914. This is the area in Sarajevo that we're talking about here. There it is in the modern day. It's still a place that you could go and visit if you wanted to. And the museum you see in the background is actually a museum, a World War I museum, kind of commemorating the events. Okay, here's Gavrilo Princip. Okay, the domino effect. The Archduke is assassinated. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Okay, because it was Serbian nationals that are part of the Black Hand. Now, this is not a government-sponsored organization. It's a group of terrorists, but they end up declaring war on Serbia. Russia has been building up in an arms race their military since a war that they had with the Japanese on the Pacific coast of Russia, where the Japanese thoroughly defeated Russia. Russia's pride is hurt. They are building their military and trying to keep up with the other Europeans at the time, and they end up declaring war on Austria-Hungary and Germany. Germany declares war on Russia and France, and now you've got these two alliances that are at war with one another. Germany invades neutral Belgium on the way to France. It's the first fighting in World War I. Okay, so during the last conflict, between Germany and France that we discussed last time, you have a very, very quick victory for the Germans in capturing Paris and capturing Napoleon III, etc. And Germany is thinking that this is going to happen the same way. We'll get to that plan in a bit. Great Britain declares war on Germany, and if you would like, this video is a really great summary of all the things that I've been talking about. Another YouTube channel called Crash Course. Okay, timetable for World War I. Okay, June 28, 1914, Archduke Francis Ferdinand is assassinated. By the way, if you are curious about this time period, because there's a lot that happens in June, July, August in 1914. There's a book, won the Pulitzer, I believe, called The Guns of August, that you should go check out. But anyways, July 28, 1914, Austria declares war on Serbia. Germany declares war on Russia. Germany invades Luxembourg. It's a very small state. Basically a city. That's a country. Okay. Germany declares war on France. Germany invades neutral Belgium. Austria declares war on Russia. France declares war on Austria. Austria invades Serbia. Great Britain declares war on Austria. Russia invades Germany. Japan declares war on Germany. The First Battle of Marne takes place on September 5th, 1914, and then we see some real conflict start happening. So because of these alliances and this arms race that predates World War I, as soon as these countries go to war with one another, they band together, and a world war is essentially started almost instantaneously within a month or so. Okay, Italy attacks Austria, etc. The Great War has begun. So I'm going to stop there for now, so we don't get too long, and we'll pick it up there in our next video.